Good day to you guys. Astrologer of the Soul here. I'm here today to speak on the full moon. If you guys are watching this on Twitter or on Instagram, do follow my link and you can watch the full video on my YouTube channel. So today I'm here to talk about the full moon. We've got a full moon in Scorpio, a very, very powerful full moon indeed. And the full moon in Scorpio is a very powerful one because of the power of Scorpio. Hence why I've got this skull here, because some of you are probably thinking, what's he doing there with a skull? Be nice. But Scorpio is the zodiac sign of transformation. It's the zodiac sign of rebirth, death and rebirth, and it re-energizes, it revitalizes. It purges the old so that one can be revitalized to be able to begin again and have a new beginning. So that's what the zodiac sign of Scorpio essentially is about. So the full moon, when we have a full moon is a time where the moon essentially symbolizes a peaking stage. It flowers. That's why when we see the full moon at night, she's very powerful. We see her in a great splendor, in her full glory. She's taking up all that solar energy because a full moon is when the moon is at one end and the sun is at one end. So she gets all of the light from the sun and she soaks it all up and she projects it out. So it's a very, very powerful time. It's a time of releasing. We even in science, they have come to understand that there are particular, events that really happen during the time of a full moon within human activity. Very often, maybe people may get drunk or they may get involved in dodgy activity because it's a releasing. And because the moon represents our emotions, we tend to release, in connection with something that is associated with our emotions very, very often. So the full moon, and this kind of full moon that's in Scorpio, is going to be very, very powerful. So I'm going to be talking about how it's going to be affecting you, which particular area of life we can be experiencing this full moon, depending on your zodiac sign. And that's where the focus is going to be again for today. I am going to be speaking about the zodiac signs very differently today. I'm not going to be going like in the zodiacal order. I'm not going to go from Aries to Pisces. So I'm going to sort of like group together. So I'll speak about the fire signs, the air signs, the earth signs, the water signs, and how it is that you're going to be experiencing. So I may be kind of jumping back and forth a little bit. So be sure to watch the whole video so that you can get a grasp of what this full moon essentially is going to be about for you guys. So this is a very, very powerful moment. And we, the full moon also as well, just to note that for the full moon, the period of the full moon, very often we will see it within the first 2 weeks. So the moment that the full moon takes place on Saturday night, the 18th of May, from 2 weeks after that, that's where we start to see if you want to say, the results or the manifestation of the particular area of our lives, it's starting to come up. So those are the kind of things that one needs to, again, be aware of. It's not necessarily going to be happening on Saturday night. So what I'm going to be telling you about based on your zodiac sign, don't be looking for it, tomorrow night for it to happen. You see, it can happen anytime within the next 2 weeks or so. So let's talk about the fire signs first. So we've got the fire signs, we've got the Aries, the Leos, and the Sagittarius. And for you guys, astrologically, this full moon is going to be falling in what is known as the water houses. So the Aries is going to have the 8th house, the Leo is going to have the 4th house, and the Sagittarius is going to have the 12th house. So let's go with the Aries first. So Aries, you guys are having the 8th house. So because you're having the 8th house, this is the house that is to do with legacies. It's actually the house of Scorpio. So it's got a very Scorpionic theme to it. So this is the house of death, tax, other people's resources. Essentially, it's to do with other people's resources. So with this full moon, you may well experience something. Something will come to some significant matter over the next couple of weeks where it's going to be highlighting your resources. So this could be to do with the banks, maybe the mortgage, Maybe you may find that you don't have enough money for what for something that you want, and you may have to go in. You may have to dig a bit deeper. You may have to dig into the go to the bank and withdraw some money, or maybe even borrow some money, or spend money on your credit card, or get some money from your partner, because the 8th house is also other people's money also as well. So this is where this full moon essentially is going to be activating for you guys. It's all around 8th house stuff. 8th house is also connected with sex also as well. It's connected with wills and legacies. So there may be something around that that becomes of focus for you over the course of the next 2 weeks. Or you may hear about a particular death, because the 8th house is the house of death also as well. So it's the death of something that may touch you on a very emotional level over the course of the next 2 weeks. So watch out for that, because that's where the focus and that's where the energy essentially is going to be for you Aries people. And then if we look at the Leos, you're having a 4th house. So the 4th house is to do with the home. It's to do with your private life. It's to do with the home life. So there's something, again, in and around that particular arena that's going to be, and we have to remember that the 4th house is opposite to the 10th house, which is career. So obviously something has happened in the area of your career of lately. Maybe there's been a job change, or there's been a significant modifications in and around your job, which will affect your home life. So the 4th house is to do with your private home, your inner sanctuary, where you're secluded, you know, where you retire to when you come home from work. So the full moon there is indicating that something ending. So this could be maybe the ending of where you live. So you could be moving. There could be something about moving on the cards here. Maybe this is where you start to really put it in. So over the course of the next 2 weeks, you're going to find something around that. So it could be to do with house movements. You could stay in the same place, but there could be a refurbishment. You could just be changing the dynamics and the energy within the home, you see, for you Leos, because it's all about the 4th house. You know, the 4th house is also connected with family and parents also as well. So you may experience something that's, again, of course, you may be somebody who's very close with your family, but the family becomes much more magnetized over the course of the next 2 weeks with this full moon in Scorpio. So watch this particular activity, and that's for you Leos. If we talk about the Sagittarius, you're getting the 12th house. Now, the 12th house is really a private house. It's really a behind-the-scenes kind of house. The 12th house is to do with self-undoing. It's connected with spiritual matters. It's also connected with traveling also as well, but it's more kind of seclusive traveling, maybe retreats from the world. So for you Sagittarius, perhaps it's a great time for you to perhaps maybe get involved in perhaps maybe some spiritual matters that perhaps maybe provide some kind of meaning of life for you. Maybe this is over the course of the next 2 weeks with this full moon in Scorpio, there may be some pulling towards needing to kind of understand your inner world, your inner mind, your spiritual mind. It's a great time to reflect. It's a great time to perhaps maybe take on maybe certain spiritual disciplines like yoga, meditation, or it could be going to a mosque or going to a church or a religious place. So it may take on also a religious form, a religious structure also as well. The 12th house is also connected with large institutions. So you may be connected with a large institution, maybe going to see somebody in a large institution or something of that nature. You know, so trying to connect with the inner world that can benefit people in the bigger picture. And that's what it's going to be for you Sagittarius, as you guys are going to be taking the 12th house. The 12th house can be sometimes a little bit difficult because sometimes it may make us want to escape from certain situations also as well, because it's that house of Pisces. And that's what it is for you Sagittarius. So that's what it's going to be for you fire signs. You fire signs have really got these water houses. And that's where the energy is going to be of this full moon essentially is going to be. Then we move on to the water signs. So if we move on to the water signs, so we've got Cancer, we've got Scorpio, where the full moon is going to be taking place. So this full moon for you Scorpio people is really going to be energized for you guys. So I'll come to you guys in a moment. And then we've got the Pisces also as well. For you guys, you get the fire houses. So for Cancer, you're going to be getting the 9th house. The 9th house is to do with traveling, long distance traveling, broadening your horizons, broadening your perspectives. It also, the 9th house does tend to also have a spiritual meaning of life kind of influence also as well. So there may be something around 9th house issues that you're going to find over the course of the next week, 2 weeks, manifesting for you, coming to the surface for you. Maybe this is it's going to be over the next 2 weeks where you perhaps maybe book a flight to go somewhere, to go abroad or something like that. Or you just get the urge to want to travel, to want to go on a plane. Maybe you may get the urge to want to go back to university and go back to studying, because those are 9th house matters also as well. Maybe it may take on a religious or spiritual, so you start looking for something more broader, a more meaning of life. So it could take also a religious element too for you Cancerians, as you're going to be getting that 9th house. Yeah, and then we have the Scorpios. So you guys are, the center of attention is around you. It's really about you, because you guys are the zodiac sign of transformation and rebirth, and that's where the full moon is going to be. So for you guys, you're getting the 1st house. So this is to do with yourself, your sense of identity, your physical body. So there may be something about your physical body that, again, like I said, Scorpio is about that rebirth. So there's going to be a rebirth around the body. So maybe you cut your hair, you dye your hair, you have a different look. You're going to get some new clothes. Maybe you get a tattoo, an earpiece, a nose piece, or something that somewhat adds to or is removed or removes from your identity. You see, so again, there's a rebirth there. So it could be something that's really subtle. It could be maybe this is the time you really start getting back in the gym. You start exercising. So you want to start looking good. You want to start feeling fit. You start becoming more health and physical orientated, you see, because it's going to be more about your presence. And because the full moon is also in Scorpio, you guys are going to feel it much more. You Scorpios out there are really going to feel it because it's in your sign where this full moon is actually taking place. So it's all about it's all about your appearance and your outward personality and how you're going out into the world. So it should, by rights, be very, very beneficial for you Scorpios. So take that energy and maximize it and really be able to, put some nice Scorpio rebirth, transformative energy out there. Okay? And then we get the Pisces. And then Pisces, for you Pisces, you're getting the 5th house. The 5th house is the house of pleasures. It's the house of progeny, so it's the house of children. It's the house of love affairs. So the full moon there can perhaps, the 5th house is also connected with talents. So this full moon in Scorpio may bring something to life about your talents, something you're good at. It may be a hobby. It may be something that perhaps maybe you've, something you've forgotten or you haven't really focused on for a long time, and you're needing to go back to it and focus it again. So again, it's in Scorpio, so it needs a rebirth. So there's a rebirth around your talents, and something also around children also as well. This could be a time for you Pisces people, maybe you could get pregnant. Or if you are Pisces already has children, there could be situations around your children that become more magnified, or maybe one of your children actually becomes pregnant. So you could be on your way to being a grandparent also as well. But also about creative projects for the Pisces. So this over the course of the next 2 weeks, there may be a creative project that comes to an end. You get to finalize it. You see, because that 5th house is all about that creative energy and what we're bringing out, what we're giving birth to. So it could be a child. It could be the new beginning or the ending of a love affair. It could be the new beginning or a rebirth of your talents or your gifts, or the way you go about having pleasures. And that's what it's going to be for you Pisces people. Okay, so that's the water signs right there. Let's move on to the earth signs. So earth signs, we've got Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So the earth signs, for you guys, you're getting what's known as the air houses. So let's deal with the Taurus first and foremost. So for you, Taurus, you're getting the 7th house. 7th house is the house of Libra. It's the house of relationships. It's where we engage, where we meet on a one-to-one level. So this full moon in Scorpio is really going to be landing in your 7th house, which is about relationships. So relationships are going to come to the forefront, especially you're going to see it again, very much so over the course of the next 2 weeks. Now, because it's in Scorpio and Scorpio is about ending and rebirth, it doesn't necessarily mean that your relationship is going to come to an end. It may do. Maybe for many Tauruses, it may come to an end. But what it's actually indicating that there's something about your relationship life that needs a rebirth. It needs to be transformed in some way. So this could also be your spouse, husband, wife, boyfriend, or girlfriend. This could be a business partner. This could be with a client. This could be anybody who you're dealing with on a one-to-one. This could also be a contract also as well, because 7th house is also to do with contracts. So don't be surprised if you're a Taurus and there's some kind of contract that comes to some kind of completion, you know, because 7th house is that contract that we have with one-to-one, not with one-to-one. It could be with a company, it could be with a business or something of that nature. And it's indicating that something here is about to change. Something's about to be magnified over the course of the next 2 weeks. Then we move on to the Virgo. For Virgos, you're getting the 3rd house. The 3rd house is about ideas. It's about thinking. It's about movement. Yeah. So there's a lot of movement associated with the 3rd house. Movement in terms of perhaps maybe your vehicle, how you drive your car, how you commute to and fro from work. Maybe you're catching the bus, maybe you cycle. So there is a rebirth that is happening in that 3rd house. There's something also about the 3rd house that is connected with siblings. So there may be something significant to do with siblings that you hear about that comes up for you over the course of the next 2 weeks with this full moon in Scorpio, for you Virgos. So it's all about 3rd house matters. This could perhaps maybe a good time for you to perhaps maybe change your car or change your bike or just get it checked. You may not necessarily need to change it and buy a new one, although that could be, if the option is there, go ahead, take it. But it may also be a time maybe you just need to get it checked. Take it to the mechanic, make sure you get some new tires, new springs, a new oil change, you know, something like that. You know, that's that full moon in Scorpio, re-energizing, rebuilding, bringing in something new for you. New ways of thinking, perhaps, new ideas also as well. A time to maybe change the way you're thinking. There are certain times of the year when we need to perhaps maybe change the way of thinking. For you Virgos, this is the time, you see. And time also around your movements also too. So that's what it's going to be. And then we move on to the last of the earth signs, which is Capricorn. And for Capricorn, you're getting the 11th house. This is the house of groups, associations. It's the people who we network with. The 11th house is the way we kind of see society. The 11th house is also the house that is often associated with hopes, dreams, and wishes. So with this full moon there, perhaps maybe something around your hopes, dreams, and wishes coming to fruition in and around that, because that's what a full moon is. Perhaps maybe there's going to be some changes. There's going to be a rebirth in and around the people who you network with. Your changes also, because the 11th house is also to do with the gains. Finances are often also connected with the 11th house because it's to do with gains from your career, because it's the 2nd house from the 10th house, and the 10th house is career. So the 2nd from the 10th is to do with earnings from your career. So there may also be something around finances, something around some certain gains that you're going to have in life that also you get to benefit from, or things that need rechanging, that need revamping for you Capricorns, you see, because you're getting the 11th house, which is it's a very good house. In the ancients, the traditional astrologers refer to it the house of good spirits. So this full moon in Scorpio there can perhaps highlight something for you guys where you get something that's of perhaps maybe some good benefit. But there is something that you need to change there also as well. Because remember, it's Scorpio, end of the old, so we can bring in the new, the rebirth. Okay, let's move on to you air signs. So we got Gemini, we got Libra, and we got Aquarius. So for Gemini, for you guys, for the air signs, you're getting the earth houses. This is the houses that are to do with work and money, finances and career. So for you Geminis, you're getting the 6th house. The 6th house is to do with work. So work in terms of your everyday, what you do on a day-to-day practice, your day-to-day routines in the area of work. So you may work in a bank, but what do you do in the bank? So what it is, your everyday, that's where the change is going to be. So there's going to be changes around your work environment, perhaps also with your co-workers. It's Scorpio, it's a full moon, so maybe certain people who you've been working with in terms of co-workers, they're going to change. There's going to be a change amongst your employees. So that's where you're going to be seeing the change. Perhaps maybe your day-to-day routines. Maybe you're known for doing something from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and that changes. So it's like, oh, no, it's no longer that anymore. It's going to change maybe from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock. So there may be changes within the schedule of your daily routines and rituals. The 6th house is also about diet. It's connected with illnesses, disease, and diet and things of that nature. So this full moon in your 6th house, this can be also a time where you can change your diet, change the kind of food, the daily habits that we have, because 6th house is all connected with that. So it can be a day where you change your diet, change what you're eating. It could be a time maybe where you quit smoking, or you stop drinking, or maybe it's just certain habits that are a little bit kind of, okay, again, full moon in Scorpio, rebirth. You know, so maybe you're changing your drinking habits, your smoking habits, or whatever it is you do that you may feel that it's no longer needed. Scorpio has that element of transformation because we're meant to transform to a higher level so that we can better. So the 6th house for you Geminis is where that's going to be. Yeah, so your everyday routines. Libra, for you guys, it's going to be about this. You get in the 2nd house. The 2nd house is the house of finances. It's the house of money. It's the house of security. It's also connected with, or it's also associated also with certain talents that you have. It's also connected with ways and how you go about making money. So over the course of the next 2 weeks with this full moon, there's going to be something that's going to change in regards to your finances. It's also in Scorpio as well. So there may, perhaps maybe you're going to get some finances, you're going to get a large amount of finances over the course of the next 2 weeks, you know, or you're going to hear about some news that changes your attitude towards finances. It could be in and around work. You could get a pay rise, or you could just find that you have a bit more money around. Maybe people who owe you money or paying the money back and things like that. But changes around your financial circumstances are definitely going to be evident over the course of the next 2 weeks with this full moon, because that's where that energy is going to be going. It's going to be going in your 2nd house. And there may be also situations around how your sense of security, because the 2nd house is also to do with security. So that's what it's going to be for you Libras. It's all going to be around 2nd house matters, things coming to fruition, the light being shone, the light of the moon with this full moon being shone in the 2nd house. That's quite a good place for the Libras. So Libras can capitalize on that. But either way, something must change. You see? End of the old, in with the new. What is it that is changing? Is it your work? Is it your work payment? Is it your attitude towards finances? That maybe you change something towards your finances. Maybe you stop something. Maybe you stop purchasing something. So it allows you to be able to have some extra more money. So maybe it's about shifting your finances also as well for the Libra. So maybe you don't spend money on X, Y. You don't spend money on those expensive, lavish coats. We know Libras, you like to look good. So, you know, those nice shoes. So, you know, and then you'll have a bit more money, perhaps. You know, so it could be also around that as well. But it's going to be around financial matters and your sense of security for sure. And your attitude towards finances too. Then we've got the Aquarians. And then the Aquarians get the 10th house. So the 10th house for the Aquarius, 10th house is career. It's your public image. It's your work. It's your vocation. It's your aspirations, your goal, what you're seeking for in life. That's what the 10th house is. So for Aquarius, it's for you guys, with this full moon in Scorpio, it's really going to be about something flowering there. This could result as a promotion. It could be a job change. It could be just heading in a new direction. It could be maybe completing something that allows you to go on a new journey, on a new, in terms of work. When I say journey, I don't mean a physical journey, but a journey in terms of work. Perhaps maybe looking for something new, looking to put that energy somewhere new. Again, it's a Scorpio energy. So Scorpio energy is about that transformation. It's about that rebirth. Okay, so for the Aquarius, it's really around the areas of work. It could be also because the 10th house is also to do with boss, your bosses. So maybe you have a different boss. Maybe your manager is going to change. Maybe the CEO of the company is going to change. Maybe your supervisor changes. You know, because the 10th house is to do with the area of authority. So there's something around authority. 10th house is also, can be authority. It could also come out with your mother or your father. So parents. So there may be something around your parents that really comes to fruition. Maybe there's going to be some changes around your parents also as well. So it's around career. It's around your position of authority and how you're seen in the world. And that's where you're going to be having these changes for the Aquarius. Okay, so that's the 12 signs there. I believe I've covered all of them, you know. But like I said, for the Scorpio is going to be the one that really soaks up this energy of this full moon. And like I say, over the course of the next 2 weeks. So the full moon's on the 18th, which is tomorrow night. I believe the full moon is going to be peaking around about 11 minutes past 10. That's BST time. That's British summer time. So for those of you who are watching in various parts of the world, do obviously find out what time that is for you guys in terms of where it's peaking, whether you're behind BST or whether you're in front. But for UK time, because I'm broadcasting here from the UK, it's going to be 11 minutes past 10 p.m. And that's when the full moon is going to be at its peak. That's when it's going to be at its fullest. And then after that, then the moon is going to start to wane. And then we start to see the results as the moon starts to empty out over the course of the next 2 weeks. We start to see the outpour of those results in those particular areas of our life, which I've been speaking about. So just a quick one for you Aries. It's about the 8th house, tax, legacies, other people's resources, other people's money, also about death also as well. It could be a death of a number of things. It doesn't necessarily have to be a physical death, so don't panic too much. Again, about the Leo, it's about the 4th house. It's about the home, your private life, your home sanctuary. Also, which could also affect your career also as well, because the 4th house is opposite the 10th. Then the Sagittarius, it's about the 12th house. It's about retreats from the world. It's about spiritual disciplines. It's about a time for reflection. That's essentially what it's about for you guys. You needed to reflect, especially over the course of the next 2 weeks. And retreating from the world. And reflecting from the world. And looking back on your life for the last year in terms of what it is that you've been doing. That's what it is for you Sagittarius. And then Cancer, it's about the 9th house. So it's about travel, it's about broadening your horizons, perhaps maybe going to university, maybe seeking higher meaning in life. For the Scorpios, it's about the body, it's about your appearance, your physical appearance, maybe getting your hair done, maybe getting, you know, making adjustments to your body, buying a new wardrobe, keeping fit, joining the gym. You know, it's really going to be about your sense of personality. Pisces is going to be the 5th house, about children, pleasures, party, talents, hobbies, creativity, creative projects, creative enterprise. That's what it's going to be for you guys. Taurus, it's about relationships, partnerships. It's about legal matters, contracts. That's what it's going to be for you, Taurus. You're getting that 7th house. Virgos, you're getting the 3rd house. It's about movement. It's about short distance travel. It's about short journeys. It's about learning new things. It's about new ideas. It's about communications. It's about connecting the dots. For you Geminis. For the Capricorns, it's about hopes, dreams, wishes. It's about gains. It's about friends. Gaining more friends, changing your orientation of friends, groups, organizations, networks. For the Gemini, it's about work, everyday routines. For Libra, it's about your money, your security. And for Aquarius, it's about your career, your vocation, and your goals in life. So that's it. Enjoy this full moon in Scorpio. You can now say goodbye to my buddy. I actually got this from a friend. It was actually alcohol. Some of you who drink or are drinkers would recognize this. But yeah, but it's cool. I told him, yeah, can I have that? I've got quite a few of them. And I do use them from time to time. And I will be bringing this one out during this full moon. This one's going to be right on my altar. So enjoy the transformation. Transformation is good. Change is good. Releasing the old, letting go of the old so the new can come in is a good thing. And that's the major power, that's one of the major powers of Scorpio. Scorpio is deep. Scorpio is powerful because it's about transformation. You know, what empowers you, the ability to be empowered is your ability to be able to change and to be able to let go. You see, those people who have those kind of mindsets, that they're determined to be able to let something go so that they can go for something new in life, to have that kind of Scorpio energy are the ones. So, full moon in Scorpio, baby. Enjoy. I'll be back next week, next month. You know me. For those of you who haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Keep on supporting. And those of you who are subscribed, thank you very much for the support. Enjoy this full moon in Scorpio, and I will be with you guys and speaking with you guys soon. Goodbye.